There's so much to look forward to, and there's another story which is brilliant this morning, linking to the Six Nations. You know, this heroic efforts, this ride for Doddie Zyw.
Absolutely. There's a few of these sporting events have happened in the past where they kind of link up stadiums, don't they?
Yeah.
As you said, this is about Doddie Zyw. Thanks, Mike, very much. So it's a cycle team made up of a host of former international rugby players, close to completing, actually, this morning, a huge challenge, covering more than 500 miles of road in just 2 days.
Now, the aim is to raise more than £250,000 for Doddie Zy's Motor Neurone Disease Foundation and deliver the match ball for the Scotland-Wales Six Nations game in Cardiff. Take a look at their journey so far.
Yes, Davy!
That's the sort of sport we've been getting on the way. You know, manic cheering in the most unexpected places from people. So much to look forward to in North Wales. So, we're living the dream. The reception we've had in Wales, unbelievable how they've looked after us, and it's been really uplifting.
Go faster? Yeah. Do we get more sleep?
It's bloody tough, this, I tell you. We've done 270 miles now, but I can do it, and Doddie can't do it, and all the other MND sufferers.
So that gives you a sense of the journey. Here they are, gentlemen, good morning. Former Scotland rugby player Rob Wainwright, Guinness World Record holder and endurance cyclist Mark Beaumont, and MND fundraiser Davy Zyw. Very good morning to you all.
Good morning. Morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you all. Now, first of all, just do a little explainer for me. The ball, I can see, I think attached to the rear of one of your bikes there. This is the match ball, isn't it? Explain.
This has been delivered. We've done a couple of these rides before, but only to Twickenham and Murrayfield. So it's great to be down in Wales. We've been looked after so well by the Welsh clubs we visited, and this is off to the Principality Welsh match ball. It follows around behind my saddle. Apparently, it makes me more aero by about 10%. So it's been very welcome. But it's heading to the Principality. It's going to get handed over to the respective team managers an hour before kick-off.
I'm very pleased to say that it's well secured, so it's not going to fall off along the way and you get there and lo and behold it's disappeared. Davy, can I ask you, this is a cause that is very close to you, isn't it, because you have MND and this matters so much to you. How's this journey for you? And I guess there are a lot of emotions involved alongside the physical stuff.
No, you're quite right, Charlie. You know, my involvement in MMD tragically started almost 4 years ago when I was diagnosed at the age of 30, and since then, obviously, it's been a huge journey to get to where I am now. I feel very much empowered about that. I'm lucky to be living with this condition when actually the stats are that the average age from diagnosis is only 2 years. So 4 years in, I haven't cycled the full 500. I've done it in relay with my brothers and friends, but I'm over 200 miles in, and I'm hugely. I feel incredibly supported and empowered to be here, and it's been an incredible few days, all to raise money and awareness for this cruel disease, which is technically incurable, but the reality is it's just underfunded. And what we're here to do with Mark, with Rob and everyone else on the team sheet is to raise as much money and awareness to fight this disease.
It's an admirable cause, absolutely. If you need support, Davy, obviously you're with the right person. Mark Beaumont here, you know, holds the record for cycling around the world. I mean, Mark, that was in 2017, I think. How are the legs? You know, what are the tricks and tips you're kind of giving to the team as you lead them round?
I mean, we're a mere representation of the full peloton. There's 110 riders, many of them doing relay, a core team doing the whole lot, 520 miles. And I don't care who you are, even if you've been around the planet a couple of times, 500 miles in 2 days in early February is hard, is seriously hard. We've had, you know, it's a long old night shift, and we've done that twice now. The welcome at loads of the rugby clubs we've stopped at has been phenomenal. School kids coming out yesterday in Wales in particular, through every town we went through. So the community support around it is absolutely amazing. But I should point out, we're lucky to have the match ball in one piece, because Mr. Rob Wainwright here took a pretty nasty crash. So he nearly punctured the Scotland's hopes before we got to Cardiff.
Rob, you kept that one quiet a moment ago.
Well, I did a Chris Froome, but not quite as quickly. I was trying to open a banana when I went into a pothole on an aberrant bit of routing down some agricultural tracks in wherever we were, somewhere in the middle of England. But yeah, I took a tumble. The great news is that I'm not that damaged. The main thing is the bike isn't damaged and the ball's still on. So the whole thing wasn't lost in one fall.
Good. Now, I know for all of you, and Rob, maybe you can pick up on this, Doddie Weir looms large, literally, in every sense, but he looms large over what you're doing, doesn't he? Because this is all about his foundation.
It is, and he's raised £12 million now. Some of that goes to supporting M&D sufferers, but the bulk of it is targeted to fund research. And we've hit £250,000. The teams that have been involved have been amazing. £250,000 so far. We'd lovely to make it more, but we're just hoping one day that we will be able to fund the research, the particular PhD student, whoever it is, that just turns the corner and finds a route. Initially, I think we're looking at drugs to slow the disease down. Obviously, the holy grail is to find something more permanent involving a cure, but for the moment, it's finding an effective drug to slow the disease down. And there's one drug that's been around for a while. It's not particularly effective, and that is it. That is all that can be offered to Davy and all the other people that suffer from this disease, and we're going to work very hard to try and find a route and correct that.
And I think it's also worth mentioning that 5-6 years ago, very few of us, myself in particular, didn't know much about what motor neuron disease was, and the amazing work of fundraisers like this over the years have not just clearly raised a lot of money for the research, but they've really sort of brought it into the public eye in terms of what it is and how it can make a difference. This ride down to Cardiff is part of Doddie Aid, which happens at the start of every year. And this year there's 17,000 people across the UK getting active, clocking their miles and fundraising. And a big part of that is awareness, of course. And, in January, February, it's a bit harder to get out and get active. But, hopefully those New Year's resolutions are holding fast.
Davy, both Rob and Mark have alluded to the impact this has on people. I mean, your diagnosis was in 2017, I think, and it started off really simply with a numb thumb. How has it progressed, and how do you deal with it? And how is your family dealing with it as well?
I mean, the repercussions in my, the fabric of our lives got torn apart. Back when I got the diagnosis, which really, because of the nature of the disease and the spectrum of the disease, is a process of elimination rather than a test you do. So my numb thumb turned out to be an incurable neurological condition called motor neuron disease. And the best medicine I've had really is the loving support of my family and friends around me, to be supported by these gentlemen like Rob and Mark here, and building a community, and really keeping an active lifestyle, keeping a healthy mind, eating well, resting well, because that's really been the best medicine I've had. It's just been the tonic, because actually the medicine available to MMD sufferers currently is, it's 20, 30 years old, as Rob alluded to, which doesn't really help the day-to-day. So there's very little available for MMD sufferers, for the individual to manage your condition. And how I've managed it is, I suppose, living without compromise, trying to enjoy the best time I can. It's given everyone I know, particularly my loved ones, a bit more clarity about how to get the best out of their days, best out of their lives. And it's given us all a bit of a lesson. So we just hope rides like this, fundraising like this is going to come to a mass to finding some treatments and hopefully one day a cure. But in the meantime, we can just do what we can do. And I'm very pleased to be standing here with Rob, Mark, and all these other cyclists, having endured a pretty grueling but a very enjoyable 48 hours on a bicycle.
Well, it's a fantastic message. And anyone who knows... Sorry, Rob. Sorry, go ahead.
So it's a torch that gets handed on from person to person, and Joos van der Westhuizen told Doddie the best thing that he can do when he was diagnosed is a positive mental attitude. We all seen Doddie. He's living that ethos. It's been passed on to Davy and so many others. And Doddie was meant to be meeting us on the ride. We saw Kathy, his wife, who told us that he was sulking at home because he tested positive for COVID and he wasn't allowed to come out and play with us.
Oh, now I
we're very
should
sad
say,
to miss him. And
absolutely.
Doddie, I hope you're not sulking still.
We were just saying, I should say, for those who know Doddie, and we saw a picture of him just there in his very distinctive tartan suit. Your tracksuits, I think, this is a marker, isn't it? Because you're in the same. Is that right? You've got the same colours as one of his famous suits?
Yeah.
Yeah, they stand out day or night. They've got a few comments down the road. For people who didn't know what we were doing, they certainly did when they saw a peloton of 110 of these coming through.
I think we're going to turn some heads in Cardiff.
Quite right. Well, look, I'm sure you're going to get a fantastic reception. Have a great remainder of your ride, and congratulations on everything you're doing. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.